Hey, how's everyone doing? The presentations have been pretty fire this one. I'm really excited to be here. Yeah, I'm going to talk about payment protocols for the next 10 minutes. Yeah, my name is Conor. I'm a PM at Spiral. I got into Bitcoin in 2017, started contributing in 2020, was one of the kind of earlier contributors to the Bitcoin design community. Initially, I came into Bitcoin because I was quite frustrated with just the general UX around Bitcoin, really difficult to use, but very powerful technology. And I did a panel in Vegas, at the Bitcoin conference in Vegas very recently, and I asked the audience kind of a show of hands of where they felt the Bitcoin UX was at currently out of 10 to give it a rating out of 10. And I know it's a very broad question to ask. But I'm going to do the same thing here very quickly. Who would give Bitcoin's user experience a 10 out of 10, a 9 out of 10, 8, 7, 7, 6, 5, 4? Shouldn't even be going lower than 4, should be for the best money in the world. So it was kind of, a few people 7, 6, but it looks kind of we're in that 5 range. So, if we get to a chance to do another design, we can next year and a few years from now, we really want to be pushing them numbers. So my talk is called People, Products and Payment Protocols. I kind of want to have a pitch for a slightly different mindset and kind of frame the design challenge from this perspective. So we have this amazing protocol. It's given us cryptographic money. It enables us to send money all around the world. You can self-custody your money. You don't have to worry about third parties, all of this good stuff. Got some of the best engineers working on this money. But I think generally speaking, the protocol gets a lot of attention in the space, and products and people generally don't. Try to kind of encapsulate it in this kind of slide here as payment protocols greater than products, greater than people. And I think this audience is best positioned to maybe flip that mindset and work backwards and kind of inform potentially what some of the protocol needs are. So yeah, I think Carl in his presentation alluded to it a little bit, like Bitcoin has a lot of great potential. But, if we were to put a number on it, 4% penetration is where we're at. So we've still got, 96% more to go. And the impact has been kind of very limited for people at the moment. Some people have made money through investment. Some people have been able to save over a long period of time. But I still think the perspective from most people who are not into Bitcoin and from the outside world is this kind of and crypto more generally, is this kind of crypto grifter casino type of vibe. Speculation is still very much at the forefront of how people see Bitcoin. And I think many of the people in this room definitely have the opportunity to help flip that. But with that comes challenges when designing Bitcoin products, in my opinion. Another kind of adjacent technologies don't necessarily have that problem. So like AI, biotech, robotics is kind of like a given that these forms of technologies have a positive impact on people's lives and humanity in general. And Bitcoin doesn't necessarily have that. So we do have that barrier to overcome when, building different types of Bitcoin products. It's kind of, these technologies are kind of provably improve people's lives. And Bitcoin is kind of yet to kind of do that on a mass scale. So yeah, going back to payment protocols or protocols, greater than products, greater than people, I think we have an opportunity to maybe flip that just a little bit and think about, very niche and specific use cases that we want to solve, given all of the tools we have in this amazing protocol we have. So that's just like a way to frame at least this design challenges and maybe just product work going forward. Is about how we can solve very specific problems for people. And just to touch on the people a little bit more, talk about people in like Argentinian life savings, for example. I mean, I spent the last week or two reading like a lot of doom stories around just like how people are engaging with the financial infrastructure that we have in place. And if you read some of these stories, man, they're crazy. It's like a shopkeeper can have 500,000 pesos saved for retirement, and then the Argentinian pesos inflates by 140%, and by the end of the month they could just about buy groceries. Like, that's kind of like a real thing that most of us have never had to really deal with. So if you hold Bitcoin for any significant period of time, you typically don't have to worry about that. And then there's just a whole host of other things you have to deal with in the kind of traditional financial ecosystem, fees and scams and freezes. I currently live in Miami, and there's a big population, or South America population from all parts of South America and the Caribbean, Cuba, Venezuela, Argentina, Brazil. And for them, sending back money is not trivial. They have to deal with a lot of hurdles with regards to that. And this is in a city where Miami's a pretty mature financial city, actually, and a lot of the people there still have many problems engaging with the current financial system. So what does a product look like that can help alleviate and solve some of these problems? We're looking for something that allows you to save, so securely store wealth for the long term, and use money for everyday purchases. And some of the product's goals should be able to do these things without friction and fear. So this is the first design challenge that I came up with. I've tried to position it from like a user story perspective, and then we'll drill down into very specific aspects for each of these. So I'll just read this out. So how might we create a Bitcoin experience for Carlos, a 35-year-old construction worker in Los Angeles who sends money back to his family in Guatemala every month? He wants a way to save Bitcoin for his own future while making low-cost, reliable payments to his family, who are not technical and mostly use smartphones. The product should balance saving, security, and seamless cross-border payments. And just to drill down a little bit more, so Carlos often repeats payments to the same recipients. His family sometimes needs to request money from him, and Carlos might pre-fund or automate his monthly payments. And then the second one, just as a contrast, is how might we design a Bitcoin product for Amara, a 27-year-old freelance graphic designer in Lagos, who is paid irregularly in multiple currencies and wants a simple and trustworthy way to save in Bitcoin while still being able to pay for everyday needs like groceries and phone data. The product should make Bitcoin feel safe, accessible, and practical as both long-term savings and day-to-day money. And some of the things that are specific to her revolve around she might get paid from international clients who prefer static payment identifiers, not back and forth invoice generation exchanges. Merchants in Lagos might accept Bitcoin in different ways. Some only scan invoices, some offer static QR codes, some list lightning addresses. Some of you might not know what that is, but if you just decide to join this challenge, we'll dive deeper into specific types of payment protocols. And she'll need flexible flows for pay me, incoming freelance work, and pay out everyday shopping, mobile top-ups. And then just to follow up on that, so some of the themes around these design challenges will be QR codes. So what should be in them? What should they contain? Can we unify different types of payment formats? Payment requests and links. What is a payment link? How should they be shared? Should they be shared only through encrypted messaging services if people already have an existing relationship? And then there's the concept of human-readable names. So do we need contacts and human-readable identifiers to send and receive money? So those are some of the things we'll dive into. There's a whole host of different payment protocols available for us to use and play around with, everything from Bolt 11 invoices to Bolt 12 offers, but I won't go into any detail about the specifics there. We really want to kind of approach them from the problem we're trying to solve first and see if those protocols are sufficient enough to help us help us solve them. So yeah, hopefully have a few people join me today and we can dive deep into that. But yeah, thanks for listening and see you guys soon.